Welcome to the third annual Neuras wine auction. And every year we try to improve on the previous year. But I think this year I am lost for words if I look at what's on the menu. We are going to try and make this a different wine auction, where you don't just buy a bottle of wine or something. We want you tonight to buy something that you will never forget. And while it's linked to the Neuras products, the rum, the port, the wine, we want you to go away with an experience. And when Rona came to me about 2 months ago with this idea, I just thought it's an incredible idea. Because as you will see on the menu tonight, with every bottle of wine, every bottle of port, every bottle of brandy, there's an experience. And the experience is there to stimulate all your senses. So brace yourself, I think it's going to be a great evening. And tonight, the auction is all about wild dogs. We recently received 11 wild dogs from Africat that they couldn't house anymore. And in the last 6 months, we've been working with the government to look at reintroducing wild dogs into places in this country where tourists can see them and where they can connect with other wild dog populations. Now, the problem with wild dogs in this country is that there's no intrinsic conservation value to them. Hunters don't want to hunt them, farmers can't tolerate them, and tourists can't see them, so there's no tourist conservation to them. So with this reintroduction of wild dogs, we hope that we can elevate the intrinsic conservation value of wild dogs. Now, to do this, we need to look at certain areas in our country to see if it's feasible. Because we've tried to reintroduce wild dogs into Etosha National Park 3 times before, and all 3 times failed dismally. So we need to do a feasibility study to see what's the predator competition, what's the prey base, what's the composition of the prey base, what's the conflict potential. So tonight, the funds from this auction will go towards that feasibility study, working with government to look at the reintroduction of wild dogs, and to an enclosure at Neuras, which we are building for this 11 wild dogs. Now, I want to explain how Nankuse works. When we started and we had no money, we also realized that writing funding proposals to take conservation forward is a dead end, because 1 out of every 11 funding proposals is successful. And I'm not great at writing, and I only speak English in self-defense. So we knew that looking for funding is very tough. But we were a group of people, all with entrepreneurial skills and business minds. And I learned a lot from my partners in that regard. And we knew we had to develop economic engines to drive conservation forward. And the wine is one of those economic engines. And tourism is the other economic engine. And that's why I'm so glad that our partners in tourism are here tonight, board at the table, supporting us. Because the only way that conservation in this country will go forward is if tourists support us and tourist organizations support conservation. Very often people use conservation as a marketing tool, and it becomes a situation where the tail wags the dog and not the dog wagging the tail. But Nankuse at its core is a conservation organization, and also in the same vein supporting the plight of the San people in this country. And secondary, our economic engine is tourism, wine, and even in the construction industry. And that's why I'm happy to see our construction partners here as well. So I hope you understand that many people think that our economic engine is called Angelina Jolie, but that's not true. Our people, our staff, who's been with us for very long, dedicated, passionate, innovative people, our partners, and it's the first time in 3 years that we have our partners with us, and I'm very, very happy for that. Those are the people that take Nankuse and its economic engines forward.